In a long, rambling phone call with Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, President Trump repeatedly insisted that he won the election, that ballots were corrupt, and even vaguely threatened that criminal activity was afoot. And now the internet is ablaze with former prosecutors and law professors, many of whom I deeply respect and admire, saying Trump's conduct is a crime or Trump's conduct is impeachable. They may be right. But it's one thing to theorize that what Trump did was criminal or impeachable from the safety of my home or my laptop. It's another thing for a prosecutor to put their career on the line, go to a grand jury, and try this case to a verdict beyond a reasonable doubt in front of a jury.
But the ballots are corrupt, and you're going to find that they are, which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them, because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense, and you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk.
Even the Supreme Court has struggled over the years with the definition of a threat. Is it the intent of the speaker that governs, or is it whether the victim felt threatened? Because threats come in all shapes and languages. It's really hard to define a threat that's in a gray area like this. On the one hand, is Trump encouraging Raffensperger to not engage in illegal conduct and always follow the law? Or is he suggesting that as the head of the executive branch and the Department of Justice, that bad things may happen to Raffensperger if he doesn't do what Trump says? Of course, Trump would say he was just giving some friendly legal advice, but Raffensperger may have taken that a totally different way.
Do you believe that anything improper or illegal took place during that call?
Legal, that's when you have lawyers and all that. Improper, he's looking at, he's coming up short in the election. He won't be reelected. And I know that he's not pleased with how the results went in other states. I'm very confident in the results we have here in Georgia.
Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country.
On the one hand, is he saying he wants to make valid legal challenges enough to get him those votes? Or is he demanding that Raffensperger engage in criminal conduct to deliver those 11,000 votes? Often, when it comes to language alone, it's hard to assign criminality. Was it inappropriate? Probably, but inappropriate is not always illegal. A lot of folks are talking about a federal statute, 52 U.S.C. 20511. Prosecutions under this statute are rare, and news reports cite an example of the federal government going after someone who attempted to vote while they were on probation. Now, did Trump actually physically turn in a false ballot on this phone call? No, but under the statute, that may not be necessary. And that's the beauty or the terror of federal statutes. They use wide, expansive language to bring all kinds of conduct under their coverage. Theoretically, it seems like what he did fits within the definition of the statute. But after Trump leaves office, will a federal prosecutor put their career on the line and take this case to a court? Or will a representative bet his or her career on impeaching the president with just a few days left and still with a Republican Senate? Similarly, it's easy to say conduct is impeachable because high crimes and misdemeanors is a very low threshold. But as we've learned historically, and even in 2020, impeachable conduct does not always result in an impeachment conviction or a removal.
To have a statewide elected official, regardless of party, tape unknowing, to tape without disclosing a conversation, private conversation with the President of the United States and then leaking it to the press is disgusting.
Different states have their own wiretapping laws, but Georgia is what is known as a one-party state. States are either one-party or two-party. In a two-party state, all the participants to a conversation must consent to have it recorded. In a one-party state, only one party to a multi-party conversation needs to consent, and the recording can be lawful. But additionally, Georgia wiretapping law speaks of private conversations. It's hard to argue there was anything private about this conversation, even if Trump personally believed it was private.
If Georgia is the star of the show today, Congress is center stage tomorrow. Let's go to NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Leanne Caldwell. Leanne, the Electoral College certification is usually a pretty standard half-hour affair. Not tomorrow, though. Could you set up this marathon day for us?
Definitely not tomorrow, Allison. So what usually happens is the Vice President of the United States presides over a joint session of Congress. House members, senators are in the House of Representatives floor, and they go through all the states, alphabetical order, to announce the electors and the numbers of votes cast for each candidate. Well, tomorrow we should expect objections in up to 6 states from House Republicans. And if there is also a senator joining in that objection in any of those 6 states, well, then what happens? Then the House stays in the House, the Senate goes back to the Senate chamber, and they debate for up to 2 hours these objections, and then both bodies have to vote on it. Then they come back together again and continue to go through the alphabet until every state is called and every state that has had an objection has been debated and voted on, Allison. It's going to be a long day, maybe 2.
It sure sounds like it. Let's talk a little bit more specifically about those objections, Leanne. Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler saying that she will likely join an objection to the vote count in Georgia. Senators Ted Cruz, Mike Braun will join House Republicans in forcing a debate and vote on an objection in Arizona. Where else will we likely see objections, and who's leading the charge?
So I touched on this briefly in the sense that House Republicans, they can object to as much as they want, but nothing goes anywhere until a senator joins that objection. As you mentioned, Georgia and also Pennsylvania is another state that is expected to be objected to as well. Arizona, that's because they will have senators joining them. But there is a group of up to 13 senators in the Senate who are saying that they will join these objections. So far, we have these 3 states. We're waiting to see if they're going to join in the other 3 states that House Republicans are expected to object to, Allison.
So, Leanne, we keep saying that these objections will not change the outcome of the election, but can you just explain to our viewers why not, so they're really clear on what is happening over the next day or 2?
Such a great question. The reason is because after these objections are debated, they have to be voted on by the House and on the Senate. And the House, of course, is controlled by Democrats. Democrats are not going to agree to these objections. In the Senate, there's only up to 13 Republican senators who have come out in some sort of support, perhaps, of these objections. So that is nowhere close to the 51 senators they need, a simple majority for these objections to move forward. So this is a process and futility. It's not going to go anywhere, but it is an effort of these Republicans to gain the favor of President Trump, Allison.
Leanne, we also keep saying that it's not all Republicans. This is dividing the Republican Party into 2 camps. What are you hearing from the GOP members who are against this election challenge?
Yeah, well, the president calls these GOP members the Surrender Caucus. But I will say, Allison, that Surrender Caucus is actually growing. The reason is because we've heard from more Senate Republicans, even today, even Senate Republicans who are facing re-election in 2022, who are coming out against this, including Senator Moran of Kansas. It's not a high-profile name, someone we haven't heard a lot about, but he's from a conservative state, and he says that this is not the role of Congress to determine who the electors are and who the electors vote for. The only role of Congress is to count the Electoral College votes. And so he is just one of more than 20 Republicans who have come out vocally and publicly to object to their colleagues. And that's amazing within itself. The fact that people feel that they have to put out a statement in opposition shows that this is a very tenuous time for the Republican Party, a party that is supposed to say that they are 100% for the Constitution and for states' rights. Well, some of their members are acting in the exact opposite way, saying that, these things are unconstitutional, Allison.
So, Leanne, I think everyone wants to know just how much longer this can drag on. After tomorrow, do the Republicans have any other options to legally overturn the election?
They don't. And some Republicans and most Democrats say even they don't have any role tomorrow either. But after tomorrow, the options are dwindling. Although, Allison, with this president, you can't mark anything off the book because there's still 14 days left until Inauguration Day, and who knows what is going to happen. But as far as changing the outcome of the election, chances are 0 tomorrow, and they're going to remain 0 after tomorrow.
Yeah, Leanne, but like you said, we just won't know until they are moving the furniture out of the White House. Just about anything is possible. So we'll see what the next couple of weeks look like. Leanne Caldwell filling in all the details of what is going to be quite a day tomorrow on Capitol Hill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.